Welcome to the third episode of the Beza Podcast. I am your host, Yasmin, and today I have an incredibly talented local artist with me. Welcome, Chase Parker.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sharing this beautiful space with me. And my husband and I are very big fans of your work, as you can tell. Well, Chase and I know each other from high school, right? A long time ago. I don't even want to mention how long ago, though. Let's not talk about age, right? What did you end up doing after high school?
I did hair for 19 years and worked in a salon in South Tampa.
No way. So right after high school, I also worked at a salon, but as a receptionist. Oh my God, that's wild. I don't even remember. No. I think they closed down.
Okay.
Oh my God, that's crazy. So what brought you to art?
So I've always been artistic. So even with hair, it's, if you think of hair cutting, it's sculptural. You think of hair color, it gives you the process of the theory of color theory and everything. So
yeah. But you had to have like a background in painting or no, not at all?
No, just ventures over the years. And I went through a divorce and had to rebuild my house in Seminole Heights, and I needed art. So I made some art, and I met a girl while I was out. She came over, we were going out to dinner, and she liked a piece that I did. So to impress her, I made her a piece. And from that piece, I got my first art commission.
Wow, no way, that's incredible. Oh my God, do you remember what piece was that?
It was a Kurt Cobain on music sheets.
Oh my goodness.
And then somebody reached out and asked if I could do an oil painting of Tupac, and I'd never done oil paint, and I'm like, yeah, of course I can. And
wow, you are a hustler for sure. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Well, can you share a little bit about what's the inspiration behind these beautiful pieces that you create here?
So I've gained a lot of recognition from the butterfly pieces, which originally stemmed from something my daughter was going through. It was her mom and I don't have the best relationship, and there have been a lot of issues. Well, one day my daughter came home and realized what was happening. So I wanted to put that into a piece of art. And so I created the first it was a blue butterfly sculpture, just a standalone piece. And my daughter helped me. We would literally paint butterflies and cut them out with scissors, and it was a long, tedious process. And when I finished, I was like, I'm never doing that again.
No way. How long ago was that?
It's probably 2.5 years now. I think it was the beginning of 2020.
Wow. And you went...
So more than that.
You went from that to make a living out of this art. That is so inspiring, especially for me also, because I'm an artist and I know how hard it is to make it in this business. Wow. That's pretty amazing.
So I went on and I went out for every large competition that I could, and I ended up winning a contract with Kessler Hotels with the butterfly piece. It was a male version, so using a mold of a male body, and I won a competition which gave me a contract, an exclusive contract with them last year, and I did really well through them. And they re-signed me this year, but as an open contract, so it's no longer exclusive.
Wow. Well, so I have hope then. I just have to keep hustling, right?
That's it.
So is this, do you think that doing in this business, you have to hustle like all the time, or something that you become known and then you made it?
No, there is no such thing as being discovered.
Okay.
It's a constant hustle getting yourself in front of the person that will discover you. You're climbing a ladder to get in front of that right person, but there's the idea of just going out and being discovered. It's not real.
Do you know who that right person is? Or do you just kind of guess?
You start developing. So everybody has a different demographic that supports their art. And you have to figure out where you want to be as far as that support figure out who the key players are in that, and then get in front of them.
That's very, very interesting. And can you walk me through the process of creating, from the beginning of creating something like this, something so unique?
Let's take a butterfly. So originally, I hand painted, my daughter and I, literally watching TV, would hand paint the outer edge of the butterfly. And then once I realized there was actually a market for it, then I started screen printing. So I would lay down a sheet, screen print all the black on the butterflies, and then I started buying machinery to cut them out fast enough so I could keep up with demand. And now I use, it's basically a UV print. It UV prints the black, and then I can color them whatever color. So I can go, let's say...
All those colors are pretty amazing. How do you find the colors? Do you get inspiration for the colors?
It's kind of color theory, just seeing what works. Sometimes it works, and then sometimes you finish a piece and it definitely doesn't work. But using color theory, you can kind of get an idea of what colors will work with what.
And do you remember, so the first ones that you made with your daughter, were they in this kind of plastic?
They were. So it's a thin acrylic.
Okay.
And they were made out of this same material, but I had to go out and buy out all the art supply shops they had the sheets. So it was really expensive buying it retail.
And now you make your own.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's pretty awesome. And I love it. I love butterflies. They're my favorite animal. And did you find real models to do the sculptures?
I do. So the first idea I had to find a model, and I think I found her on Instagram, actually. And I asked a few different models. You know, it's a weird, I'm like, hey, can you come over and let me mold your body? It's a weird thing.
Question to ask, right? But why haven't you used me yet?
We can do that. So without having the idea, to show them and go, hey, this is what I want to make.
Yeah.
You're just blindly kind of like, hey, here's an idea that I have, and you try to explain it in words, and it just doesn't do it justice. But now that I've done it, I can reach out to models and go, hey, this is what I make. Will you work with me to create a body mold? And I have lots of them. And this is just a small fraction of what I have, male and female bodies. How
do you get to make the mold?
So originally what I had to do is take like this piece here, and I would cover them in silicone from head to toe.
Oh my God. That feels claustrophobic to me.
I've had 2 models that passed out.
Oh my goodness.
So that was dangerous. So now take this one, which this is actually a 3D scan of a mold that I've done. So now I can scan the body and then print them out at home.
Wow.
Which saves a lot of time, saves them from being covered in this goo.
This is so much easier to get a scanner and just scan. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Faster, easier, safer, and cheaper.
And that looks very perfect. Do you have to edit the picture a bit?
You do. Yeah. So this one I had to go in and make the shoulders or make them more symmetrical. And you can enhance or detract from any features that you want bigger or smaller.
That's pretty cool. I love it.
So then I'll print it out and then do it's kind of like a car bondo over it to then go through and sand and make it nice and smooth.
Wow. And how long would you say, like if you were to cover this sculpture right there, how long would you think it takes you to cover all that with butterflies?
So I've gotten my time down quite a bit. It used to take me days to just make the body. Now I've got it down to about a full day of.
Wow. That's why art costs.
That's it.
That's the reason why the prices of art are elevated, because people don't realize how much work goes into it.
It's a lot more than people think. So making each butterfly, cutting them out, spraying them, making them, and then making the flutter part takes the most amount of time.
Okay, yeah, because it kind of goes, what's your take on that? Like, what are you trying to achieve with the butterflies flying out? Does it have a meaning?
It was so based on the first idea where my daughter came home and she realized what was happening. And I wanted to signify, that in a piece of art with letting go of the traumas or the heartache that she had gone through, and she was just letting go of that. So the butterflies escaping the body and that.
Oh my God, I got
transition.
Goosebumps. That's so awesome. That's a great story. And how do you scale the price on your pieces?
It's really per hour. So a piece like this, which is smaller than, say, a standalone sculpture, which I have around here.
Yeah.
So a smaller piece would take me less time. So I kind of scale upon hours spent on the piece.
Okay. And how do you market your work out there?
Most of my work is through galleries. So I have, I want to say 8 galleries through the Kessler collection. So I send them my work and they sell it through the galleries, and they do a lot of the PR work that goes with it. So they take a hefty percentage, and industry standard is now 50 to 60% through a gallery.
That's not fair.
But they earn that. So they do, of course they have brick and mortar costs and employees, but they do a lot of PR work, and they get you into newspapers and magazines. So they're building your name, but it's at a price.
Okay. And I saw recently on your Instagram, I thought it was very interesting that you had your first pieces shipped to Italy.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. That sounds amazing.
So a client bought 4 different pieces. They bought 3 pieces similar to this. So they're building a home on the southern coast of Italy. And they showed me a video of the home. And I told them, you need this here. And they ended up buying 4 sculptures total, 3 wall mounted and 1 standalone.
How did you find this client?
Networking.
Networking?
It's constant networking, yeah.
That is awesome. Oh my God. Well, I hope they invite you over.
They told me that I could visit anytime I wanted to go, and I would have a place to stay. So I'll get to go see my work in Italy.
That is so cool. Yeah. And do you market any other way, like Instagram? So you
do have to market yourself on Instagram. It's kind of the industry standard, but it's a little oversaturated. I do get some business from Instagram, but I've realized I want to go more of a corporate route with my art. So I started really kind of diving into LinkedIn.
That's interesting.
And people do call to artists on there, and it's a little less crowded, but it's larger jobs.
And what does that mean, the call to artists? What do you have to do? You have to post like a biography of yourself, pictures of your art?
So that's where it gets into more of the business aspect, like you're pitching yourself. You are going, hey, here's my CV, here's what I've accomplished, here's what I offer. And then they'll go through the list of artists that they have and see what fits for, let's say they're building a hospital. Well, a hospital has an allotted budget for art. So they'll reach out, they'll do a call to artists and go through the list and pick the art that they want from that. It's typically more than, 1 or 2 pieces. You're doing a collection for them.
Oh my God, that's really awesome. That's pretty cool. And I also read on your website that you work with conventional and unconventional materials. What does that mean?
So, yeah. Take like the butterflies, for example. It's acrylic. It's a thin acrylic. It's not worked with much. I don't even know what the application would be for something so thin and pliable. But I've used that, and then the book piece behind you, using materials that are all around, kind of repurposing. And I never use vintage books. I always do mass produced, so I'm not ruining old books.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. People have a problem with that.
I was going to ask you, I mean, you don't only do sculptures, but you also do amazing paintings, 3D, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's pretty unbelievable. Where do you get the inspiration to create, let's say, something like this?
So this is a play on another artist, Yakov Agam. He's 102. He lives in Jerusalem, but he created the agamograph, which I remembered from, I think it was elementary school, where you make a drawing and then you fold the paper and you make another one, and then it's two different drawings. So this is just more of a fine art style of that.
And you just like one day you decided, okay, I'm going to try this out, and you did it?
It's trial and error. So I failed at the first 3 or 4 pieces. So it turns out that there's an equation you have to figure out because it stretches the image. So there's a lot of learning process through it.
Yeah, my brain can't even think on how do you do that? How do you achieve that?
And those are a lot of math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you are in a pretty cool space here in the Chris building, which Ybor City is becoming like a really cool spot for all the local artists, right? How did you find this place?
When I decided I was going to go art full time, I learned about Daryl Shaw, who is revamping all of Ybor, building gasworks, and now the Ybor Harbor. So I ended up going to one of his events, and you have to stay uncomfortable. So I went up to him and I'm like, my name's Chase Parker. Here's my art. Here's what I make. What can you do for me? And he gave me his phone number. We met for coffee one day, and I told him I needed a studio. So we walked through this building, and it was blue carpet everywhere. The building was
no way.
Looked nothing like it does now. And I picked this room, and
this room, I have to say, is pretty amazing, though. I love it. I mean, what a great place to make art.
Yeah, I love it. So, I can't stay out of here. There's not a bad day. Even on my worst day, I'm still dancing around making art, and it's a good life.
That's awesome. So you spend a lot of hours here.
A lot. A lot. Yeah.
Oh my God.
7 days a week.
7 days a week. That's what it takes to be a great artist and a hustler and, and make your business happen, right?
That's it. So 30% of it is making art. 70% is getting in front of the right people. So you're working a lot. It's not everybody thinks that the life of an artist is this relaxed, you wake up at 11, you make coffee and stroll into your studio. It is not.
Nothing like that, right?
You're going to be broke if that's the case.
Wow. You're a great inspiration. So I am so happy that you're sharing all this with us. Can you share with us where exactly are you located? How can people find you if they want to come and see your art in person? How can they buy your art?
I'm in the Crest building in Ybor, and just got into the 10 rooms restaurant that's opening up. Ro Patel, who was the builder of Ciro's Speakeasy over in South Tampa.
Okay.
So I'll have art in there. I've got art at the 1920, which they're having their 1-year anniversary party on Saturday.
Oh, cool. I saw that. Hopefully I can make it.
Yeah. But most of my art is available through either Instagram or the galleries, the Kessler collection.
That's awesome. So you guys know that you can go check him out. What's your handle on Instagram?
It's art_C Parker.
And we're going to also place that in the description of this video, and we're going to tag Chase. Thank you so much for sharing your space, sharing all the amazing work that goes behind this amazing art that you create. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in.
And I hope that you can choose me on one of your
Yes, we'll definitely work on a model. Yeah, on mold. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for staying tuned with us. Make sure you follow Chase, and I will leave all the information below. See you pronto. Bye.